The Beatles were together approximately 12 years if you go back to the founding of the Quarrymen and take it from there. But in that time, they transformed music entirely. Songs moved from a mere 2 minutes or less to long and involved, complicated songs full of imagery and symbolism. They were the first to put lyrics on album covers, to do double albums. They changed fashion in their Pierre Cardin suits, in John's glasses, in their hair. They changed the way that we look at women. They wrote songs about women and sang songs for women, and they copied the songs that women wrote. They copied the Marvelettes and the Shirelles, and they honored women and spoke to them directly and inspired girls to speak out for themselves. They were so involved in civil rights that they wrote it into their 1964 contract that they would not perform for segregated audiences. And they changed the entire scope of the 60s in almost every area. So how do you measure something that was that profound? And of course, John founded the band. It was his band, and he pushed them to success.
You obviously spent a lot of time researching and writing about John Lennon. Can you tell us a little bit more about his personality? He was a complex character, wasn't he?
Absolutely. John today, in so many ways, is seen as a saint, wearing his white suit with possibly a halo slipping over his shoulder. And John was anything but that. John was a Northern English man, a drinking, swearing, laughing, whimsical, punning man that had no problem enjoying rock and roll and the Cavern Club and the Garston bloodbaths and Litherland Town Hall. He was a normal man. It just so happened that he was also a supremely gifted composer and the writer of two award-winning books of poetry and prose, and a peace activist who led 5,000 people through the streets of New York City to stand up for the rights of Ireland. He did everything in the arts, but he was just a normal person. And that figure that we saw in the movie yesterday, we have to remember that that was an opposite world in which the Beatles were not even known. That wasn't John Lennon. John Lennon was all in everything that he did. He was so passionate about the Beatles and about them getting to the toppermost of the poppermost that he pushed them when they left at several points and wanted to take other jobs and do other things. He went around knocking on their doors, rounding them up and telling them, "You can't quit the Beatles. We're going to be famous." John was always passionate, but not always good and not a saint.